Nitin Raheja, Chief Investment Officer with AQF Advisors. Nitin, good morning and thank you for joining us. Before we take a deep dive into individual stocks and groups, first characterize the big picture for us. It appears to me at least that Indian markets are in a state of limbo. Institutional flows have dried up and the cash market commitment is not there.
Well, yeah, sure. So, Nitin, what you've seen is a healthy rally in the market on the pre-election expectation. And as you're getting closer and closer to the 12th, when you'll start seeing the exit polls and then you'll start seeing the results starting to come from May 16th, I think the markets have taken a cautious stance. There has been a good amount of money that has been made by investing in these markets on a stock-specific basis. And I think clearly now people are hedging their bets. They're being cautious and waiting to see what will finally transpire and open out. So I kind of expect the markets to trade in a kind of a nowhere zone, if you were to call it, in this run up.
Nitin, hi, morning. Do you think this consolidation and profit taking is only to gear up for a gap up start, or rather significant headroom once a stable government is in place?
Well, my own view is that if you take a little longer term view, the market trend will continue to remain up. I think and that is led by the fact that the economy is showing its natural bottoming out trend, and the growth expectations are much better going ahead. And also the fact that but what could probably happen is whether it's a gap up or a gap down, depending on which way the election swings, and is a question on everybody's mind at this point of time. So clearly, if there is a government with a very strong majority in place, then you will probably see that gap up. On the other hand, if you have where you don't really clearly have a majority, and so you might see a correction happening in the market. My view also is that even if there is a gap up, post that there will be a correction in the market, and then you will once again start building out on that rally. So on that correction, I'm sorry. So I'm quite optimistic as far as the markets are concerned over the next year and a half, and whichever way the election results come, I think even post a deep correction, if there is no stable government, you will yet see the markets coming back.
So you're saying in case there is a stable government and for a significant move higher, that is only going to happen post 16th May, and from now up until 16th, the market is going to remain in a consolidative mode?
Absolutely.
Okay, Nitin, let's talk stocks. Wockhardt, really the heavy duty mover yesterday. Nitin, Wockhardt has appreciated by about 80% plus in last 1 month. Market cap has gone from 4,000 crore to 8,000 crore. For a company which has got big challenges when it comes to the US regulatory hurdle, what explains the underlying price action? I mean, Wockhardt is not moving up on 1,000 shares or 2,000 shares. Yesterday it moved up on something like 7 million shares.
Well, clearly what has happened in Wockhardt is that, when the stock collapsed from a price of top of around close to 1,800 or 1,900 all the way down to, I think, 350 or 370, markets react, both ways. They either, on the downside, they will over-exaggerate the move, similarly as you have it on the upside. So I think what probably happened in the Wockhardt is now people started looking at it, and if you think about it, the kind of valuation that it traded at 350, 400 was probably discounting the worst. There were no more plants left to come under the FDA scanner. There were no more warning letters that were possible for any of their plants. So corrective measures have already started. It is a business which is fairly large in size, which was very well discounted, and so I think once anybody and everybody who wanted to sell exited, you're really seeing a natural move back, that the worst is behind the company, and from here on, incrementally, it might take time, but you can only start seeing positive news going ahead. So I think that probably accounts for the Wockhardt move.
But Nitin Raheja, yesterday TVS made a lot of money for traders and investors. What's going on there? I mean, the story about TVS is the following. It is a weak player, number four player in the two-wheeler market, lowest margin in the industry, yet the best performing two-wheeler stock this year.
Well, clearly, Nikunj, what's been happening in the market in the last few years, just as we talked about Wockhardt, it's, I think, a similar kind of story played itself out in TVS. I think there are a couple of things there which added to it. One is it was the cheapest stock in the sector. And so there were value players who stepped in. The second is, it is one of the players who have played the scooter story, and scooters have done extremely well, and a lot of the big players have been caught, like Bajaj and all, are not in that market actively. And HMS, the Honda has actually capitalized on that, and scooters has been one of the fast growing segments, and that's where TVS has been there. So that, along with the fact that there has been a marginal uptick as far as his margins are concerned, and a value play, have all contributed to TVS's performance.
Nitin, I don't know if you've had the chance to take a look at Bharti's earnings. What is your own sense about how telecom as a sector should be approached now from a long-term perspective?
Well, clearly, I think, if you look at the sector as a whole, we would prefer to be in a space like Idea, which is more domestically focused, because clearly the domestic market, as far as tariffs are concerned, have bottomed out. Data is picking up for a lot of players. But Bharti, is with the Africa story, not really panning out well for them. Has really gone nowhere as a stock. If you see, actually, in the last many years, it has virtually stayed in this same zone as such. So, we would prefer a more domestic play as such, rather than a play like Bharti, which is more international.
Currently everyone is chasing beta stocks, and what we've seen in last 3 months is a synchronized rally. It's a rising tide which is taking everything up. But do you think now it's time to differentiate within cyclicals, within industrials, and within PSU banks?
Well, clearly, you've had this huge expectation-led beta rally, and depending on, as I said, if you have a very strong government with a very stable majority, it might continue. You might yet see that bump up, or the gap up led by the beta for some time. But I think over a period of time, we've also seen that whether you take last year, where for most of the year the market was flat, or even now, the approach following fundamentals and following bottom-up stock ideas has paid off as far as we are concerned, and we continue to in our portfolio management focus on that.
Nitin, in general, do you think one is better off giving IT stocks a skip for the moment? A, the rupee or the currency equation is not favorable. B, as a group, IT is still extremely overowned. And if economy makes a comeback, historically we've seen that exporters, they always take a back seat.
Sure, you will see that that short-term underperformance continuing for IT, and as I said, currently at least there is so much of uncertainty as far as the rupee dollar is concerned, and all sorts of numbers are going around. But my own view is that if you look at the basic fundamentals of the economy, Nikunj, unless and until you're saying that there is going to be huge amounts of inflow coming into this country, and so on and so forth, and the rupee will appreciate significantly, I think we are a current account deficit country. If the economy picks up, again you're going to see the same structural imbalance which has governed this country for years. So I think the rupee over a period of time has to keep on depreciating at a steady pace, given the inflation differential, given the fact that the current account deficit. So IT will come back. It might underperform in the short term, but over a medium term, we continue to remain optimistic as far as IT is concerned.